Hi, hello. Welcome to Tea Time with TRA Tocklai. In this episode, we will talk about maturity of leaf versus quality of made tea. To talk about this, we have today with us Dr. Himanshu Teka, working in Biochemistry division, along with Dr. Santanu Sabha Pandit. Welcome, Dr. Himanshu.
Thank you very much, sir, for inviting me to join here. Thank you.
It's pleasure. Padma, we also were thinking to talk to you for a long time, but then there was no conducive time. Today you have come, and then I saw recently your paper published on this particular topic, particularly on maturity of tea leaves versus quality of made tea. When we talk about quality of made tea, we also need to talk about biochemistry of it.
Exactly.
So what are the biochemical compounds that are responsible for end quality of tea?
So when it comes to quality of tea leaves, we must think about the chemical components present in it from biochemical viewpoint. The most important chemical compounds in tea relating to quality are polyphenolic compounds, catechins, caffeines. These are the primary compounds which are basically responsible for quality of tea.
So finally, polyphenols, catechins and caffeines can be termed as quality precursors for tea.
Yes, exactly. When we talk about the quality of tea leaves from biochemical viewpoint, we concentrate on the phenolic composition within which catechins also fall, then caffeine, then your anthocyanins, all these compounds comes. When we go for black tea processing, the catechins are the precursors for formation of theaflavins and thearabins, the two most important compounds contributing to the quality of black tea.
Okay. So now we wanted to talk about age of the leaf versus quality. We have to stick to these three biochemical compounds. So what happens from first leaf to second leaf and then third leaf and then bud and then fourth leaf when we talk about polyphenols? How they are distributed?
When we go from 2 leaf to 3 leaf and bud, the total polyphenolic content decreases by around 10%. And when you go from 2 leaf to 4th leaf and bud, the total polyphenolic content decreases by around 25%.
Okay.
So to produce a good quality tea, actually we should stick to the 2 leaf and bud.
Okay.
But the changes between 2 leaf and bud and 3 leaf and bud is not so prominent. But the changes between 2 leaf and bud and 4 leaf and bud is very drastic. So, so to produce a good quality tea, we should strict ourselves to during plucking to the 2 leaf and bud and 3 leaf and bud.
Polyphenols are most important biochemical constituents present in tea leaves.
Yes.
So how that is affecting versus maturity of the leaf?
So when we talk about polyphenols, we refer to the compounds which contain hydroxy group in their structures, and they include your flavanols, flavonol glycosides, flavons, all these compounds. And when we call about polyphenols, we basically refer to total polyphenolic content, that is the content of all these chemical compounds as a whole. And this total polyphenolic content changes with maturity of leaves that you are plucking to produce your black tea or processed tea. And this polyphenolic content decreases with increasing the maturity. When a 2 leaf and bud develops to 3 leaves and bud, this content of total polyphenols decreases by around 10%. Then when a 2 leaf and bud develops to a 4 leaf and bud, the content decreases by around 25%.
Okay.
And when you ask me why does it happen, because as leaves mature in their cells of the plant, some insoluble components, phenolic components like lignins, condensed tannins are developed. And the most interesting point is that the biosynthetic pathway of these insoluble phenolics share the same pathway which are used to produce the soluble phenolics.
Okay.
With increasing the maturity of leaf, the polyphenolic insoluble phenolics content goes on increasing, thereby soluble phenolics content gets decreased because they share the same biosynthetic pathway and their precursors are same. So this is the reason behind why it goes decreasing with increasing the maturity.
Okay. Will it become crude fiber?
Exactly. Crude fiber is also a very important quality. With increasing the maturity, crude fiber content will also go on increasing.
Okay. Yeah. Among the different constituents that are available in polyphenols, which one is major constituent?
Yeah, sir. But among the different constituents of polyphenols, catechins, which are also called flavonols, are the most important or the dominant factor. Because in a good quality, you will have 15 to 25% of total polyphenol, to which catechin contributes to 70 to 80%.
Yes.
But again, catechins is not a single compound; it's a group of compound. There are more than 20 catechins have been discovered till date.
Okay.
And among these, there are 5 principal catechins. They are epigallocatechin gallate, epicatechin gallate, epigallocatechin, epicatechin, and catechin. And again, among these 5 major catechins, epigallocatechin gallate is the most dominant one, which contributes around 50% to total catechin content.
Okay.
In our Northeast Indian tea cultivars, the presence of EGCG and ECG are much more higher in comparison to other cultivars, and these specific catechins content decreases with increasing maturity of leaf. For example, when we talk about the most dominant one is EGCG, that is epigallocatechin gallate.
Yeah.
It decreases by around 35% when a two-leaf bud develops to a four-leaf bud. And again, when a two-leaf bud develops to a three-leaf bud, this content of EGCG, that is epigallocatechin gallate, decreases by around 10%.
Okay. So if you want epigallocatechin gallate more in your teas, it's better to stick to finer plucking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is what is, yeah.
And what will happen if you have more EGCG in your tea? You will have, I'll talk to you later on, that theaflavin, one of the theaflavin component that is called theaflavin digallate, is produced in much higher quantity during black tea processing.
Okay. Now let us talk about caffeine and theanine content. How do they get changed in accordance with the maturity of the leaves?
Maturity of leaf also have effect on the content of caffeine and theanine. As we know, caffeine is a very important quality parameter for black tea, because caffeine makes a complex with theaflavin through hydrogen bonding. It gives a complex which gives the cream layer formation in your black tea liquor.
The top layer,
yes,
creamy
exactly.
formation. Yeah.
This is a very important part of tea quality, and this caffeine primarily gets synthesized in the young shoots.
Okay.
And with increasing, and they are also get accumulated in the young shoots, and with increasing the maturity or changing the maturity, caffeine content decreases.
Yeah.
When a two-leaf bud changes to a three-leaf bud, there are changes in the caffeine content in the extent of around 25%, and when two-leaf bud develops to a four-leaf bud, the content decreases by around 25%.
Okay.
And in case of theanine, the trend is reverse. Theanine is synthesized in your roots of the plant, then it gets transported to different parts of the plant, and theanine, the trend of theanine change with maturity is reversed. Okay. Opposite to the trend of that caffeine on catechins follow. With increasing the maturity, theanine content gets increased. As I have always said, comparing 3 plucking standards like two leaves and bud, 3 leaves and bud, and 4 leaves and bud, when a 2 leaves and bud develops to 4 leaves and bud, theanine content increased by around 35%. Wow. When a 2 leaf and bud again develops to 3 leaf and bud, theanine content increased by around 10%.
That's a very useful information. Like theanine is increasing as you come down from the top of the layer. Yes, that is expected. If we talk about Assam tea, we can say that total Indian tea production, almost more than 50% of Indian tea production is coming only from one state, that is Assam.
Exactly.
Now, how do you think the biochemical compounds change with respect to the age of the leaf in Assam conditions particularly?
The Assam tea has a special identity all over the world.
Yeah.
Assam, especially black tea, CTC black tea. Basically, quality is a combination of 3 factors: biochemical content, the physical appearance, and the flavor.
Yeah.
When we talk about quality, these chemical components dictates the quality, like theaflavins, theaflavins comes to our mind, and the sense in biochemical contents with the maturity of tea leaves directly affects the quality of black tea during processing.
Okay.
As I have already stated, with increasing the maturity, the content of total polyphenols like catechins changes. With increasing maturity, catechin content decreases. Therefore, during black tea processing, when we process black tea with matured leaves, there will be less amount of theaflavins and thearabins. If you process black tea with 2 leaves and bud, you will have higher content of theaflavins and thearabins compared to when you process it with 3 leaves and bud and 4 leaves and bud.
So it is not only the TF-TR ratio, the total quantity itself will be less.
Also TF-TR ratio is also important, along with quantity is also important. Only the ratio will not give you the quality. You have to maintain the minimum content. But till that, no national or international bodies has set any standard regarding theaflavins and thearabins.
Okay. You mentioned about theaflavins, and you mentioned that theaflavins is one of the very important biochemical constituent that's getting converted during black tea processing. Can you explain more about how they are formed? Where is it getting converted from? How is it going to affect the quality of made tea?
Theaflavin is the most important chemical attribute of black tea. And theaflavin, when you call about theaflavin, again, it is not a single compound. It's a group of compounds. There are more than 20 theaflavins have been discovered or reported. And among them, only 4 remains present in dominant quantity. They are theaflavin, 2 theaflavin monogalates, and 1 theaflavin digalate. And theaflavin gives the color of the liquors, the astringency taste, and some other aspects of tea quality. These theaflavins are formed from the catechins, one of the most important polyphenol compound in your green leaf. These catechins, as I have already said, there are 5 major catechins: epigallocatechin gallate, epicatechin gallate, epigallocatechin, epicatechin, and plus catechin. These catechins, when leaves gets macerated, when their cell walls are broken down, these catechins interacts with oxygens with the help of the endogenous enzyme polyphenol oxidase. They get converted to some orthoquinone compounds, which again react with other catechins, and then they get finally converted to your theaflavins. In Northeast Indian tea cultivar, as I have already said, they contain higher amount of your epigallocatechin gallate and epicatechin gallate. And in these cultivars, when you process black tea, the higher amount of epigallocatechin gallate gets converted to your orthoquinones. This again reacts with your epicatechin gallate. Okay. Thereby producing more amount of theaflavin digallate. And in all your black teas, you will have the highest amount of, among the different theaflavins, you will have highest amount of theaflavin digallate. Contributing to around 40 to 50% to total theaflavin content.
That's, I think, quite an interesting news for the viewers today. Most of it, I mean, almost 50% of the theaflavins are theaflavins digallate.
Yeah. And also have health beneficial effects. They also have even Dr. Pritam in your biotechnology department is studying. Dr. Padmapal is also working on that.
Yes.
And these have very much health beneficial effects.
Yeah. That's a lot of work is going on.
Hepatitis C virus is already proven by Dr. Pritam.
Yes, yes. That's what the objective of this show is, also to bring out a lot of work that are going around in TRA on health and tea.
Exactly, sir. Other than processing regular black tea, so that we can work on value-added products or some other type of products.
Yeah. In fact, that is needed at this point of time. When tea is produced in surplus, we need to think of diversifying our tea products just from drinking purpose to some other purpose. So that's a good work a group of scientists are doing in TRA. If you have seen the previous 2 episodes, we spoke about 2 different parameters like water extract and also about crude fiber content in tea. How those 2 parameters get influenced by age of the tea leaves?
Yes, sir. These are crude fiber and water extract are 2 very important parameters, as Dr. Padmapal Sharma has already mentioned in your last episode. I have seen it. And national bodies like FSSAI of India and international bodies like ISO have also set some limits for these parameters. For water extract, it should be a minimum content of 32%, according to ISO and FSSAI. And they have also set a maximum limit of 16.5% crude fiber to define black tea quality. And but when we talk about crude fiber, what is crude fiber? Basically, crude fiber originates from the structural components of the leaves, basically from cellulosic and hemicellulosic materials present in your leaves, and these components changes to an extent of around 40% when you go from 2-leaf and bud to 4-leaf and bud. And when a 2-leaf and bud develops to a 3-leaf and bud, the crude fiber content increases by around 15%.
Okay.
And water extract is also very important because it gives the depth of your liquor that you are consuming, and it also changes with maturity of leaves that you are using for processing black tea. When you process black tea with 2 leaves and bud, and when you compare directly processed from 2 leaves and bud and 4 leaves and bud, what you will observe that in your tea that is processed from 4 leaf and bud, you will have a reduced quantity by around 8% of water extract. And when you compare with the 3rd leaf and bud, you will have a reduced quantity of water extract by around 4%.
So there is a major change in crude fiber content.
Yes, sir.
The undesirable parameter.
Yes.
And water extract, the desirable parameter,
reduced
in due to aging of the tea leaves.
Yes.
Let us talk about antioxidant activity of tea. What is antioxidant activity in tea? How is it related to biochemical parameters? And can you explain a little bit about this?
Sure. When we talk about antioxidant activity, or what is antioxidant? Antioxidants are compounds which prevent oxidation. In our body, in human body, due to various metabolic processes, free radicals, so reactive oxygen species always getting generated due to these metabolic processes, and they cause harm to our healthy cells or our cells. In tea, in a good quality tea, as I have already mentioned, there will be around 15 to 20% of polyphenolic compounds. These polyphenolic compounds act as an antioxidant. Now, what they do, they reduce these free radicals or reactive oxygen species so that they cannot make any further damage to your cells.
Okay.
So they have the antioxidant property, and these compounds are particularly responsible for the antioxidant activity of tea.
Okay.
So tea may be a good source of good dietary source for consumers. When you talk about antioxidant property, with increasing the maturity, polyphenols get decreased. So with decreased content of polyphenols, antioxidant activity of that particular tea that you are consuming, you will have less antioxidant activity.
So it is similar to the polyphenol content.
Yes, sir. The polyphenols play a major role. This is the most important chemical compounds when we talk about health beneficial points. When we talk about how can we determine antioxidant activity, so there is not a single method to determine antioxidant activity. There is various methods. As I have already said, that in our metabolic processes, free radicals are generated. So we can also see how our polyphenols in tea acts as an antioxidant against those free radicals. So we can use some model free radicals like DPPH or ABTS. There are some model free radicals. So by using these free radicals, we can determine the free radical scavenging activity of tea. In addition to that, some other methods are also there, like lipid peroxidation inhibition assay, ferric reducing antioxidant capacity, oxygen radical absorbance capacity, then your reactive oxygen species inhibition. And there are hydroxy radical inhibition assays. So there are
plenty of methods available
are there that you can use to assess the antioxidant activity of the tea you are consuming.
Is there anything specific we are adopting, any particular method, or we are also open for all the methods?
These all methods are open. No particular methods that we can point out that we done primarily.
That's good. Nowadays, consumers are more aware about antioxidant activity of tea, which you are saying that it is coming from polyphenols. Is there any way that antioxidant activity can be incorporated as one of the quality parameters in tea standards?
Polyphenols plays the primary role in determining the antioxidant activity, and if you go for determination of polyphenols, you have a standard methodology, you have ISO developed methodology. So you can determine it easily. It's a very standard method. So once you have the data of polyphenol content, once you have the knowledge on the polyphenol content, then you can have an idea to what extent your tea is contributing as an antioxidant. So I think if you go to include it as a quality parameter or as a quality measuring component, so you have to work a lot on that. As we already have the information on the polyphenol content and also on the methodology of determining polyphenol content, so it is better if you can concentrate on the polyphenol content. It will give you an idea to what extent your tea is contributing as an antioxidant.
So whether we can include polyphenol content in the standard?
Yes, sir. Yes. This is the most important compound contributing to quality.
I know.
In your green tea, catechins will be there. In your black tea, catechins get converted to theaflavins and TRA. So all these are polyphenol compounds, whether catechins or theaflavins and TRA. They will give you the antioxidant property in your cup of tea.
So how do you think maturity of leaf influences the antioxidant activity of the final produce?
Yes, sir. Maturity of leaf has a direct influence on the antioxidant activity. Because with increasing the maturity, your polyphenol contents in the leaves that you are using to process black tea will decrease. And with your decreased polyphenol content, you will have your lower content of theaflavins in your black tea. Theaflavins are also polyphenols. As with increased maturity, you will have lower content of theaflavins in your black tea as well as total polyphenol content, and you will have lower antioxidant activity. So antioxidant activity has direct relation to total polyphenol content and theaflavin content, particularly in your black tea.
Okay. So why in your studies only 2-leaf underbud, 3-leaf underbud and 4-leaf underbud were conducted?
To produce a good quality tea, we should strictly follow plucking of 2 leaves and bud. But in reality, as everybody knows, you also know, I also know, 3 leaves and bud, along with sometimes 4 leaf and bud is also plucked. When we covered 3 stages, 2 leaf and bud, 3 leaf and bud, and 4 leaf and bud, so that we can have incremental sense, knowledge on the incremental sense in the maturity. And it is an industry standard also, plucking also. So that is the reason. So with incremental senses from 2-leaf and bud to 3-leaf and bud, again from 3-leaf and bud to 4-leaf and bud, we will have the knowledge on the sense in the biochemical content. That's why we studied with only 3 stages of plucking: 2-leaf and bud, 3-leaf and bud, 4-leaf.
That's very good, Dr. Himangshu. Actually, to summarize the whole study, we can say that finer the plucking, your polyphenol content, caffeine content will be good, will be higher, but the theanine content may be slightly less. So if you optimize your plucking standards to 2 underbud plus 3 underbud together, probably you will balance out everything.
Exactly right, sir. When we aim to process good quality, 2-leaf and bud is the best. Even if you can also add 3-leaf and bud.
Particularly for black tea production.
Black tea production, but sense is not so prominent when you go from 2-leaf and bud to 3-leaf and bud. We can also take 3, but when you go to 4-leaf and bud, quality will deteriorate. So to produce, you should follow
2 and 3.
2-leaf and bud best. You can also take 3-leaf and bud. Not much sense will be there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Himangshu, coming and explaining the biochemistry versus maturity of the tea leaves in this show.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure to join you here in this platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.